All right, if you have a trust and your trust is receiving IRA dollars that are going to a non-spouse beneficiary, I'm going to talk about two scenarios that you may want to revisit in the event your trust was written before 2020. I'm Brennan Decima, owner of Decima Wealth Consulting. And I want to talk a little bit about the Secure Act. So if you have an IRA and you're leaving it behind to a spouse, the spouse can take distributions out over their entire lifetime. Now, this used to be the case for non-spouses as well, but the Secure Act changed that. And this took place in 2020. So if your trust was written before 2020, listen closely. This may impact you. So the first scenario is a conduit trust. Now, trust used to have something called look-through language. And what look-through language gave the trustee permission to do was to take annual distributions that satisfied an RMD over your non-spouse heir's lifetime. So if you have a conduit trust, this could potentially create a major tax nightmare and a conflict with the IRS rules, because the trust is saying, potentially, spread the distributions out of over your beneficiary's life. But the IRS rules are saying, hey, this all needs to come out by year 10. Well, this could potentially create a huge tax liability in year 10. So if you have a conduit trust as part of your legacy plan, most likely this needs an immediate rewrite. This is a huge risk. Now, the second scenario is something called an accumulation trust. Now, what an accumulation trust is created for is it retains the income in order to provide asset protection, creditor protection, protection from divorce, or just protection against bad spending habits for your heirs. Now, the risk with an accumulation trust and an IRA, if the language was done before 2020, is the trust can take those distributions and hold the income. However, if the income of that trust is more than $15,000, then it is taxed at 37%, the highest tax rate. So an accumulation trust may still provide that asset protection, but it potentially comes at a much higher tax bill cost than your heirs would normally be subject to. So this doesn't necessarily need an immediate rewrite, but it does potentially need an amendment. So what is the key takeaway here? If your trust is receiving IRA dollars when you pass, we want to make sure that the language is up to date with the Secure Act. So if you've written your trust prior to 2020, you may want to take a look at that language, speak with an estate planning attorney. And if you need any help at all, visit us at www.decimawealth.com, and we're happy to do an estate plan review for you. Hopefully this is helpful. Have a great day.